No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, Swamp Swimmer, and with me as always, the Jimmy Kimmel to my Jimmy Fallon, Vespacian. Late night hosts.
Hi everybody. I like the reference.
Hey, I've got a big surprise for you, Vespacian. Guess what? This is our 100th battle report.
That's hard to believe. Really?
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's been a
fun ride, man.
It's been a fun ride.
Good time.
So I thought for our little spiel before the battle report, we'd reminisce. What has been your favorite part of doing this?
I've always felt like viewing your battles like the best, like most efficient way to get better. Right? You see the mistakes that you make. You kind of remember back to the decision making you had at the time, and see how the interactions happen, planning, etc. So I've really enjoyed that, and staying in touch with you and getting engaged with the broader community. I think it's been a great time. But I've enjoyed it a lot.
Definitely. Same here. It's been fun keeping up. We found each other when I moved to San Francisco, however many years ago, on the Ninth Age website. We just played a bunch of games together, and we decided to do this channel. It's just been fun seeing the progress of everything, us in our personal lives and us at this channel. But I have to say the most fun part about this channel is, this is gonna sound like I'm a very shallow person, but the recognition I've gotten for it. And when I say that, is a couple tournaments I've gone to, especially the tournaments out here on the East Coast. A couple of guys have like, oh, you're Kenyan. Oh, you're Swamp Swimmer. Oh, you're the Glory of Golden State guy. And that warms my heart a little bit. And then also when screaming out Glory of Golden State Gaming at the North American Team Champions, my tournament that I run in San Francisco, and everyone claps and cheers. It's pretty exciting. It feels good inside.
Great. I mean, you deserve the kudos, man. You do 90+% of the work, so everybody should thank Swamp Swimmer.
Hey, it's fun. It's fun. But hell, we're back to Infernal Zoo 2022, Infernal Zoo 10, Davis, California, and we are on to your round 4 video. You're sitting at like 30, high 30s after 3 games, so over average, just a little bit. And you get paired into Mr. James Starr, one of our good players in the Bay Area. Well, that sounded bad, like there's a bunch of bad players in the Bay Area. No, one of the mainstays in the Bay Area, and he's playing his good old Empire Sonnstahl, which he loves playing. If you are interested in Vespacian's list, please click the link right above my head. That'll take you to the round 1 video for Vespacian, where he goes over his list in a little more detail. But James is playing Empire Sonnstahl, and he's got the General Marshal on an Imperial Dragon with a crystal ball. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. He's got a Marshal BSB with Blacksteel on foot with a Binding Scroll. He's got a Wizard on a Griffin, Adept on Alchemy. He's got a Wizard, Adept Cosmology on foot, a Prelate with just armor, an Artificer with long rifle, 50 Halberdiers. He loves that unit with a Rending Banner. 2 units, or 1 unit of crossbows, 1 unit of handguns, 6 Knights of the Sun Griffin with lances, Arcane Engine, Cannon, Steam Tank. This is close to the... He played this list for a long, long time, and he really liked it.
Yeah, pretty similar. Got a strong magic phase. I think kind of deceptively strong. Given it, doesn't have like a master or anything like that, but he's got a couple of adepts. He's got a few different iterations of perception strength, which is really strong with his high armor, like the stank and the cannon.
Yeah.
And the sun griffin and the dragon and stuff. So yeah, he's I think he's got a nice build here. So yeah.
Yeah, that the double perception of strength with the Knights of the Sun Griffins with a lance, so they have the 2-up armor. I think it's a great combo. It's a fantastic combo. But anyway, let's go into your little pre-game blurb here. You put this as yellow.
Yeah, he's got a few things that I don't like to see across the table. He's got like a massive infantry brick. He's got a lot of range damage, and between ice and fire, replicable fireball, he's got a lot of magic missiles that he can push at me that really will count on my elite archers. So I didn't love that. At the same time, I have like the Pathfinders are great against the Demigryphs, the Sentinels are great against the Dragon. I do have answers. Just got to be careful with my monsters and really be judicious about force concentration on specific targets, I think. So kind of up in the air. And I think King of the Hill, once I saw the field, I felt like was a good advantage for me. So yeah.
All right, this first picture is marked top of 1 movement.
Yeah. So Dawn Assault, I pick sides. And I chose the bottom because I liked having that impassable, and the hill to sort of hide my monsters from the cannons if I needed to. And I also really liked being able to, because what I did was I denied him the from our perspective, the right-hand side.
Over here, yeah.
Which meant that he had this sort of nasty big river and impassable terrain that he would have to, that was basically like a no-go zone for most of his army, right? He doesn't want to put the infantry brick through the water. So I felt like I would be able to kind of know where he was in general by doing this. And then the other thing I was happy with was I picked that forest, which you can kind of see sort of right behind my dragon's wings there.
Oh, this one here, yeah.
Yeah, I picked that forest as my King of the Hill, and this is something that a lot of people forget, but I can tree sing and move the King of the Hill objective away, which is a cool functionality. So I liked that. I felt like I could, he wouldn't be able to deploy much over on that side because of Dawn Assault, so I felt like that was a pretty strong positioning overall.
Yeah, fair enough. So go over what's deployed on your side and his side.
That ruins in the upper right. So he took advantage. Yeah, there. He took advantage of the weird Dawn Assault deployment to pick that, which was. So yeah, I had to get over there. So then deployment. And I think in retrospect, this was a mistake from James, but he had the opportunity to drop her first and didn't. He let me do it. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes why I think that was a mistake, but I instantly took the opportunity to drop her first. With the scouting pathfinders, being able to kind of deploy them flexibly, my army doesn't really mind dropping them first. I get to shoot first, which is a huge advantage. So I basically kind of deployed centrally. You can see I kept my Tree Father Ancient, my caster, sort of behind the building, able to, dodge cannonballs basically. And then I put all of my placed shooting sort of centrally to be able to shoot it where I thought his guns would be. My first priority is counter battery, wanted to take down his shooting. And then I put my dragon and my other Tree Father in the center, basically to be able to push and start defending that forest as I tried to move it back. And that was why I really think it was a mistake for James to let me go first, because it lets me start pulling forest back, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if he had gone first, he could get up onto it and prevent me from singing it away, right? So we talked about that after the game. I think that was a mistake. I put all 3 of my little core scoring units over on the right-hand side. So you can't see him in frame, but basically there's that Lancer unit there, and then a Forest Guard unit, and another Lancer unit all over on that side.
On the right side?
Yeah, because basically I wanted to be able to make a late game push into the ruins to try to win the objective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was trying to, and given where Sonnstahl was, I knew he'd be deployed in the center. And then, and I put my Reavers on the left-hand side, and yeah, that was basically it. And then James' counter deployment, he put the Demigryphs over on the left, seeing that, from our perspective, seeing that I basically had nothing over there. I think he was thinking of the Demigryphs as being able to kind of move up unopposed. He's got one of his shooters, I think the crossbows, which was my first priority, right there in the center. Yeah, behind that is the cart, the arcane shield. He's got that's the prince, the big griffin.
Yeah, that's
You
the
can't really
dragon.
see it,
Yeah.
Sorry. And then you can't really see it, but the cannon is kind of next to it, behind the big infantry brick. Yeah, it's right there. He's got that cool Mordor troll as a unit filler in the
he's a little in the way.
Really cool. And then the other shooting unit, the handguns over there, and then the steam tank and the wizard griff over there.
Very good, very good. Let's see here. Next
Yeah.
pick is...
Sorry. Let me talk about my first turn movement. So if we go back, so I people say that I don't take enough pictures, so that next picture was an extra picture. So basically that wizard is in the crossbow unit that's right in front of the cart and the dragon, right?
This one right here. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my top priority, 30-inch range, counter battery. It's got the wizard in it. So I deployed the Pathfinders over on the left because my thought was I can put everything into that crossbow unit, and then Pathfinders are an excellent, the Griffins are an excellent target for the Pathfinders with the AP3 shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So I put them there, and then you can see I kind of push up to get everything within range. I leave all my scoring back because I don't need them yet, and I need a clear path to sing the tree backwards, the forest backwards. And then, so spoiler alert, in shooting, I wipe that crossbow unit out.
Jesus.
And I get within a couple of wounds of taking the mage off as well. It was very close, as you can see. That poor guy.
He's like, what happened?
20 crossbows just gone.
Jesus. All right, so what was shooting into that unit? Was the 2 units of Pathfinders and your regular bows,
Sentinels,
and the Sentinels.
And the big archers. Yeah.
Jesus.
And the Reavers too, I guess. Or the Heath Hunters, excuse me.
Yeah, these guys. Damn, man, I feel like, that is a lot of shots in your Sylvan Elves, but man, that seems like a lot, but all right, whatever.
Yeah. So that guy quickly ran, and I think you can cut. He's actually standing between the cart and the dragon.
Right there, that guy right there.
He didn't learn his lesson. But James moves up pretty aggressively. I think rightfully seeing that the Sun Griffin and the the Sun Griffin and the infantry unit are not really scared of anything in my army, right? So they just shove forward. He's got some good zoning and counter charges, and he brings the stank up, basically to shoot and threaten, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves the crossbows where they are, yeah, that was about it.
Bottom of 1, shooting and magic. Ooh, lots of wound counters.
Yeah, so he puts a lot of I think he does 3 or 4 wounds, it looks like, on the dragon. That's from cannon shots and the crossbows with the artificer with the long rifle. And he puts everything into that dragon.
The handguns.
Does 4 wounds. Yeah. And the handgunners, yeah. And he does, I think he does a lash or something like that to the Tree Father, or a fireball, something to start peeling off wounds on that. So you can see, this is what I was scared of. Is the big monsters are taking lots of wounds early. So we'll see how I do against that.
Top of 2 movement.
Yeah, so basically have to react from his demigryphs advance with the Pathfinders and the Reavers. I pull everything back to be able to shoot. And then it's a little, I'm now realizing it's a little bit hard to see, but essentially what I've done is I've found a spot with the dragon such that the artillery cannon can't see me because I'm behind the Tree Father, right? And the Tree Father is chaffing essentially the infantry brick, but if he brings them in, I'll be able to then have a countercharge with the dragon. And I do think that over time those two monsters have enough juice to get through the infantry brick, and also he has no countercharges because of where the demigryphs are and how wide they are and where the dragon is and everything. There's no countercharges, so I went with an aggressive move here, and I'm just really relying on Druidism to heal and buff those monsters up, basically.
Let's rotate this. Hold on one second.
That's the, sorry about that. That's the tree, the forest running away, and all of my scoring.
It's run very far away. That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, every turn until it got stuck. It can't move over other terrain, so that was like the final resting place of that forest, but it was enough.
Bottom of 2 movement.
Okay, so do you mind zooming us in to, like, just over the building, and I'll try to summarize. You can kind of get a picture of what happens here. So essentially what I do is, and remember, this is old Druidism, not new Druidism. So I am able to heal quite a lot of wounds on the dragon. I think I heal 2 wounds off of him, and I also believe I get a healing waters off on him.
Wow.
So I'm able to do what I needed to do, which was really buff the dragon back up to keep it alive. He brings the infantry unit in to the Tree Father, you can see there. And then if you scroll us back out, you can see that I did, I actually, one of the reasons why I put that Tree Father up was to strangle roots the mage, but I only did 1 more wound to him.
Yeah, you see the 2 wounds here.
Yeah. That guy, he just doesn't learn. And I think with my shooting on the left, I think the Pathfinders slightly underperformed and only took off 1 of the demigryphs.
Yeah, it feels like he should have done more. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could have done better there. He just rolled lights out with his armor saves, if I recall correctly. And beyond that, I think because of where he is, he's got decent cover on that on the handgun unit. I'm putting my other shots into them to try to take them down, but it's slow going. I think you can see they're a little depleted, but so he goes in. He's ready for that fight with the Tree Father, and he brings
his dragon up.
Brings his dragon up to threaten. It was a good move, and the one downside or mistake I think that he makes, I'm remembering this now, he put it so that when I kind of reformed the Tree Father, I could get it out of the dragon's line of sight. So he's really heavily threatening my back line, but he doesn't have a countercharge into that main combat. And I think he could have easily positioned to do both. I think he was trying to kind of cover all the angles and just was a little off, basically.
Yeah. Let's see here. Top of 3 movement.
Yeah, okay, so you can see I had to use so in the center there, Tree Father stands up to the punishment. I actually don't think he even did that much damage.
Yeah.
And I was a stubborn 9 rerollable.
Oh.
So he stands up there, and because the dragon doesn't have a countercharge, I take my dragon in. Stomp, breath weapon, lots of attacks over time. Like, that's how I'm gonna get that unit down. Double thunder stomps, right? And so that's the way to do it, basically. The one thing I'm worried about, you can kind of see it on the right hand side, is how close that stank is.
Yeah.
But we did check it, and there was no way for the stank to get into the dragon. So basically, just with the wheel, if he tried to, he would go past it. from the Tree Father's base. So he only has an elven charge
into the father. Yeah.
Tree Father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Otherwise, I set up my archers. He's obviously pressuring me in a big way with that dragon, but I set up my archers with a very reasonable flee path, so they would bounce over my bunker.
Land right about here. Yeah.
I'd move the characters. Yeah, I move the characters into the sentinels up there on the hill. The sentinels are out of charge range of the dragon, so basically that was the move there. And then the last thing I did was I ended up having to use the Heath Hunter Chaff on the left. He had pushed far enough forward that I needed more time to get them down. So another round of shooting for those demigryphs.
I mean, you still have the eagle also, so you're fine over here.
Yeah.
Bottom of 3 movement continued. Oh
yeah,
no,
so
this is
he charged. Bottom of 3, yeah. So he charged the Heath Hunters on the left, the chaffing ones. He brings the stank into the Tree Father.
Once before that, it looks like you really didn't kill that many halberdiers.
I didn't, I think the first round, not too many, and he challenges out the dragon.
Yeah.
He's got Prelate, BSB, Champ, so I have to work through all of those. And so I think the first round I killed the Champ, or something like that, and then the next round I killed the Prelate. So anyway, still haven't been able to put too much damage through there. He brings the stank into the Tree Father, you can see. He does take the charge from the dragon onto my big archer block, but I flee, as you can see.
Yep.
And that kind of leaves him stranded out there with nothing else to charge. You can see I've started to bring my scoring up so that they're positioned where they can make that last turn move into the ruins to claim his objective.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, that's about it. Yep.
It's top of 4 movement.
Okay, so you can see that my shooting has done quite a bit more damage to those demigryphs on the left. I think that if it had been contiguous with the amount of damage, there'd be one left and I wouldn't be as concerned, but he's still got a viable unit there with a couple of wounds on it, I think. You can see that the stank got the Tree Father, at least that's the way it looks.
Yep, he's gone. He's gone.
So he finishes off the Tree Father, but that guy did his job. This stank is, I think there was something funny there. I think that he actually survived the impact hits, shockingly, and was able to do a few more, a couple of wounds, like a crush attack or something with stank before he went down, basically. Something like that. I do think I managed to get that Cosmo Wizard off with some volley fire shots or something at some stage, so his magic phase is a little depleted. And my archers rally, and I basically move my bunker and everything so that they can't get hit by the dragon. And I think at this point at turn 5, I think it was, I might have misquoted the turns, but at turn 5 we found out we weren't going to make it to turn 6. And so I make my push with my 2 scoring units up into the ruins, and I have my BSB over there, so they have a re-rollable. Now, I don't think both of them are in general range, but re-rollable 9 and re-rollable 8 if he does any damage over there.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think another one, he should have had that Griffin on the hill zoning ruins, right?
It's true, yeah.
They were out of arc over there, so.
Bottom of 4 movement.
Yeah, so everything kind of falls apart a little bit for poor James here. So at some point in this, he declines the challenge with the BSB.
Interesting.
And I've finished off the other characters, and I win the combat, and he fails the non-rerollable. At 9?
9, right? Yeah.
Which allows the dragon to overrun into the cart, or maybe it panics the cart off, and I hit the cannon. But one way or the other, the unit runs off the border. I catch it. I'm able to pursue into another unit. He brings the stank in, and I have a vague recollection that I actually managed to kill the stank with the dragon.
Wow. Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
but I don't. It might not have happened. I can't quite remember. I did take a slightly aggressive move on the left, where with 3 Demigryphs left and 2 full strength Pathfinder units, I was like, look, I should be able to just kill these guys. I don't do it. Just armor saves, bad rolling, whatever it is. So he ends up picking up one of the Pathfinder units with the Demigryphs, so that's a good whack of points there. I think he goes over to use his breath weapon on the eagle just to get some points there. And then we have a bit of a tense moment where his marksman shoot try to take off my scoring units
over here. Yeah.
But because they had to rotate up over the hill, they were not hitting very well, and he doesn't manage to take them off. So I think this is the last picture, and I managed to win the objective, and get a big point swing at the end with that halberdier unit, the cart, the cannon, maybe even the stank.
Well, for some reason I can't see the final card. So what did you get? What was your final score?
So it was 16-4 with objective to me.
16-4. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, I feel like all these Sylvan Elves
I'd like
games...
some recognition for the number of pictures, including the sort of
Yes.
fluffier pictures of the mage and the dragon and everything.
Fair enough. Credit where credit is due. Taking some
Let me
pictures.
pick 100 battle.
This was a really good game. I mean, you're getting really good at playing with the Sylvan Elves, dancing around. I think your key moves are when you shove dragons or tree fathers into these little corner places that a lot of people don't see, and it causes a bunch of problems. Those little slivers of area where there's no charge threat, you know?
Yeah, tree fathers are not very mobile, but they are single models, right? So they can kind of get wherever they need to within a small orbit. So, there were some things we'll talk about at the beginning of Game 5, but there's some things that I've changed since about this list, but I think the kind of core concept is still really cool.
Yeah, I think James, it would have made a big difference for James to go first. Yeah, it's hard when you realize that decision like 2 or 3 turns into the game. You're like, damn, I screwed up the deployment, damn it. It's a rough feeling.
I understand wanting the counter deploy, but I do feel like with the way that I kind of boxed him in with the Dawn Assault, like I think that in this case, 90% of his deployment was kind of dictated by the terrain and the space that he had, and so I feel like at that point you might as well go first, right?
Yeah.
He's also got shooting. I think it would have changed things.
Well, you are sitting at 50-something points, and you're on 5th place right now after 4 games, which is pretty nice. Give you a chance. Yeah. That's within striking distance of the top, maybe. But we will see you guys in the next battle reports with our round 5 games of Infernal Zoo. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Happy 100, everybody.
Happy
Thanks.
100.